I haven't played poker
Yeah,
once
bro.
since I've been
It,
here.
dude, it's a $100 buy-in.
Bro, bro, come
Well, there's a $50 one too. There's a $50 one too. I'm hoping I can do the $50
You
one. But if
should
I
do that.
can't, I might have to do the. I might have.
I
I
mean,
might have to do
you're,
that.
you're not just not gonna fucking play poker.
All right, so we're back for episode 9 of the Yeah for Real podcast. Last episode I talked with Charlie about the 2024 election, and this episode I am joined by truly like the most special of guests. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Julian. I go to school with Isaac.
Yeah.
Boys from day one.
Mm.
And yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah. And as all the avid Yeah for Real listeners know, to which there are many fans, um, the host does not pick the topic typically. It's the guest. So I guess I want to ask Julian, what are we talking about today?
So, guys, today we're gonna talk about the gym and exercise, nutrition.
Woohoo!
Big passion of mine, big passion of Isaac's. That's something we've been bonding over since day one. So yeah, a lot of exciting stuff on the docket today.
Yeah, fun fact, Julian and I became friends because we met at a little like orient I'm gonna call it an orientation event thing. And Julian was like the fucking biggest like senior I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, this has got to be my gym, bro. And he Snapchatted me that we would go to the gym together, and that was it. And then didn't we go to the gym together like first day at like
It
6
was
a.m. or
it
something
was
stupid
so
like
fun
that?
because we saw like the orientation list and we were like, oh, well, there are things from 7:30, 8:30. So we clearly need to go in the morning
At
because we want to time.
6:15 a.m.
So we woke up at like 6 in the morning and went to the gym. And
I remember, yeah.
I wanted to go so bad, and I had a splint on my hand because I messed up like the cartilage in my wrist.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God, you're
dude, like
right.
whatever. And I just like took the splint off and we just started benching.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a pretty intense workout, actually.
Yeah,
I
it
had
was.
never really known what a workout could be until I met Julian. Everything I know about the gym, I learned from this man. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about the gym today. So that's a big category. I guess I want to ask you, like, what, Julian, what does the gym mean to you?
What does the gym mean to me? All right. Well, the gym is it's a very complicated place. So there are various different types of reasons to go to the gym. You can go to the gym because you want to be healthy. You can go because that's your sport. You can go because of vanity, because you want to look good. And there's a lot of intersection between the different things. You can go because you want to become stronger. Overall, all of these different, regardless what your reason is, why you go into the gym, the different results you get, the gym is overall a pretty positive place. You're going in there to work on yourself physically, and as a side effect, you will often experience, positive mental effects too, changes in confidence, changes in, the way you carry yourself, your attitude towards yourself. So as far as what the gym means to me, it's kind of a place to go to, just de-stress, enjoy yourself. I mean, I have a lot of my social interactions at the gym. Me and Isaac would go every day when he was at West. And it's just a nice way to hang out with the boys, hang out with friends, enjoy yourself. And yeah, it also like it changed the way that I see myself. And I'm very, very grateful for it as a place. What
Hell yeah.
about you?
What about me? I
What's
mean,
you?
I'm the same thing. I mean, you know this, but I for a long time was not confident in myself,
Mhm.
and combination of changing my eating habits and going to the gym really turned my life around. I think a lot of people like I think it's different for everybody. Like I think the gym can be a really positive place for some people, and for others it can be a more negative experience. And I think whatever floats your boat is great, but for me, like getting stronger is so positive. And like the other thing is like it's like seeing yourself, seeing the way that you change, your body changes. I remember someone told me, and this has never like left me, that like like at the gym you're like painting your own painting, and like you are the work of art, and like every
Yeah.
time you go, you're working on your work of art.
It's like a,
And
yeah.
yeah, it's a sculpture, exactly. And that really stuck with me and has stayed with me. But I think you started going to the gym before I did. I mean, I didn't really start like consistently going to the gym, I'd say until I want to say senior year. I mean, of high school? What about you?
So I did it. My father introduced me to weights. My dad and my grandpa both work out a decent amount. So maybe when I was like 12, I started, training a little bit with my dad in the garage. We had some dumbbells and stuff, and we would, he taught me. I remember being on like the bench press in the garage, benching 25-pound dumbbells and feeling, so incredible about myself. So I
Hmm.
started like on and off there. Then COVID hit. So that was, never really went to the gym like much consistently before COVID. Then COVID hit, and that obviously wasn't really, conducive to going to the gym. And then at the end of my junior year of high school, I started going to the gym every single day. And from
Yeah.
that point, end of junior year to the end of senior year, I mean, it was ridiculous the changes that you see.
Yeah.
It's like just going
I've seen
consistently.
the photos.
It's pretty it's pretty cool. I mean, that's also Newbie Gains, which we can, discuss later, but it's
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, let's discuss it now. For
Okay.
those who don't know, what do you mean by newbie gains?
So when you first start going to the gym, your body is much, much more sensitive to stimulus from, resistance training. So your muscles have never really been exposed to this level and frequency of weight and of resistance training. So honestly, almost like a lot of the times when you first start going to the gym, it's easy to get it sucked into these like, these scam programs and all these specific ways to lift. Like, oh, I need to go 6 days a week. Should I be doing push pull legs? Should I be doing like an Arnold split, which would be like chest and back and, all these different things. When you're a newbie, pretty much anything you do it's gonna help you grow. You can be eating like garbage, and if you're going to the gym fairly consistently, you're still gonna grow. So that and I think it's pretty incredible the way that that works because that's the most important time for people to be getting drawn into the gym when they first start and when you're starting to develop that habit. So going in and seeing changes, sometimes even weekly, like pretty significant changes, it's an incredible way to just kind of get you drawn into the gym. And now if as you keep going, it slowly that progress starts to slow down and you need to be slowly more and more like methodical
Hmm.
about how you approach the gym. You got to start focusing a little bit more on nutrition. But at the beginning, it's really just about, finding ways to enjoy the gym, finding ways to,
Yeah.
get yourself into the gym and associate positive, aspects of it with your life.
Yeah. So, follow-up question, because you mentioned something. I mean, I know the answer to this question, but what is a gym split, Julian?
Sure. So a gym split is how you choose to split apart the different components of your body that you're working throughout the week. So each muscle can be trained in, very different ways. We have tons of different muscles in the body that work and, present in various different ways. So it's important to train them all, but a lot of the times it can be difficult to do that in one day, and you're definitely not going to be training every muscle every single day. So a split is like you know, as it says, like you're splitting up the different muscle groups into different days. So that can be done in various different ways. So you can do a full body split, which is where you would train every single muscle. You train it pretty hard, but that means you're working out at the gym maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, probably
Hmm.
twice a week. And that can be incredibly effective as long as you're training as long as you're training really hard. Then you have the push-pull leg split, which I'd say is probably the most popular split, kind of like the gym bro split.
Hmm.
And that's when you split the groups into pushing movements, pulling movements, and legs. So a pushing movement is anything where you're pushing the weight. So that's like bench press, anything that's using the chest, right? So these are all pushing movements. And then tricep, which is also a pushing movement.
Hmm.
Then you have pull. Now pull are pulling movements. Exactly. That's biceps and then that's back, right? Anything that you're pulling with. So a fun little fact about that is every single time that your muscle is contracting, it's never at there is no push. So your muscles are never actually pushing. They're always pulling on each other. So these muscle fibers are always contracting and pulling even when you're doing pushing movements. So it's a little counterintuitive. That's just me nerding out on the science behind it. But I mean, yeah, that's probably the most popular split. Then you have other splits like the Arnold split, named after Arnold Schwarzenegger, which
Mm.
is chest and back in one day. Then you would have an arm day, which includes shoulders, biceps, and triceps, and then you would
Mm.
have a leg day. You can get super creative with it, and as you get more advanced, kind of figuring out what works for you, customizing the splits in different
Mm.
ways. But yeah.
So what split are you on, Julian?
I'm currently doing a push-pull leg split. It varies at times. Sometimes
There's
I'm
a
a little.
reason it's popular.
There's a reason it's popular. It works great.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you'll do push-pull legs and then push-pull legs and then take a break. It's also completely okay to do push-pull legs, break, push-pull legs, break. So you're working out 4 times a week instead of you're working out 5 times a week instead of six, or 6 times a week instead of five.
Hmm.
Um, and it's totally okay to take a couple of rest days through the week. Rest is one of the most important parts of working out.
So before I ask you about that, I think it's important to mention right now, by the way, because you mentioned your nerdiness about the medical aspects of things. You have a background in knowing some stuff about this stuff. Do you want to just explain that real fast?
Sure. So I'm pre-med. I'm in, obviously Isaac and I are in undergraduate juniors in college. And I'm planning on applying to medical school. I'm currently training to become an EMT. And
Such a
recently I
dream.
started just getting really into the science behind lifting. I think it's really interesting how the body works and how we're able to grow muscle. I think it's a pretty incredible that it's one of the few things where you have a lot of control over the different factors to change your body. So we don't really see that with, uh, various different types of sicknesses and illnesses. It's tough to control those because, a lot of the times they just happen to happen. But, with exercise training, you have so much control and it's pretty incredible. So that's kind
Yeah.
of just my passion behind it.
So just so that's thank you for explaining that, and I thought that was important to mention because you do really know what you're talking about and you've done the research. Um, we're not just some gym bros on YouTube being like,
No,
here
maybe a
is
little, but yeah, we know
whatever,
some.
whatever, whatever. You haven't released your pre-workout brand yet. Once you do
No,
that, then you're
in the works. In the
yeah,
works.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut butter flavored.
Peanut butter flavored pre-workout. We're gonna be the first pre-workout company with like cream-based flavors. So like chocolate pre-workout, vanilla pre-workout.
Yeah.
We're just like the
Uh,
test getting FDA approval.
FDA approval, hell yeah. Just for those who don't know, pre-workout is like a typically heavily caffeinated powder, which you mix with your liquid, your water typically, and you drink it before the gym, and it gives you a ton of energy. And often it has some other substances in it, which Julian knows better than I, but like beta alanine, some other stuff like that, which basically makes you look pretty good. Um, so just to let the viewers know what split I'm on, and I think I've told you about this, but long story short, I was watching Deadpool and Wolverine 3, and I was just blown away by Hugh Jackman's body.
It
Like
is
pause,
incredible.
like, but I was blown away. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if his workout routine is online, and in fact, it is. The Hugh Jackman Wolverine workout routine split is online, and that's been my workout routine for the last like half year or a few months or so. Um, and it's intense. The arm workout in particular is pretty intense, and it shows not on me, but on Hugh Jackman. It really shows.
It's starting to
And
show
he's
on
like
you. I mean, I haven't seen you in a little
thank you.
bit, but
Well,
it's
thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll send you some photos later. Uh, but and he's like 55. Like that's what's crazy. He's like
yeah.
getting up there. I mean, he definitely took steroids, but
I
like
do
whatever.
think it's important to know that it's probably to, take something, but
Yeah. Oh, well, so speaking of, there are in fact steroids for the gym. Very famously,
um,
you know what? You should really talk about this. Talk what are gym steroids? What do they do for you? That kind of stuff.
sure. So anabolic steroids are drugs that you can take that can heavily increase the potential of muscle that able to build. It doesn't help with fat loss necessarily, or it doesn't. If you take steroids, you're not just going to immediately lose all this fat and become super muscular and lean. You know still got to diet and work really hard. One thing with steroids is you don't just take them and become huge. Like you need to work out with steroids,
Yeah.
but the crappy thing about steroids is that they work incredibly well and they make you huge. But the negative side effects are pretty gnarly. So various different steroids. I think at the beginning you have testosterone. So that's just replacement for the male sex hormone, the male, the androgen hormone testosterone, which is responsible for, the level of muscle growth that we're able to experience, changes in your voice, body hair, those are all attributable to testosterone. So when you supplement that into your body, from an outside source, then you have uh, a much greater potential to build muscle at a much higher rate very quickly, and it's pretty impressive. And then you have all these other steroids. You have Tren, Dianabol, like the none of the names that I say are gonna matter, but it's
Yeah.
you have all these all like tons and tons of different steroids that people take that work in various different ways. Some make you stronger, some make your muscle mass increased. Bodybuilders will take different things that like athletes who want to take steroids will be taking.
Yeah.
Um, but on the other side, they increase your risk of heart attack. They can cause psychosis. They can mess up libido. If you're taking exogenous testosterone, like your testicles are going to shrink because you don't need to produce testosterone from, your body. So,
A
there are tons.
brutal, brutal L.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, low key, right? They're gonna look like grapes, like little grapes. So and I think that's a problem, especially now. The steroids have become so popularized in the media. Maybe not so much Hollywood. I mean, in Hollywood, you have all the fake natties like The Rock, Hugh Jackman,
Chris Hemsworth,
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, that's a great one. Would
Chris
and
Evans. I mean, I don't think any of those guys are natural.
I don't think so either. I think Ryan Reynolds might be natural. I think so.
Yeah.
But like
Well, he never really is like shirtless in the Deadpool movies,
in the
so I
first
think
one, you get like a
you're right.
full nude shot.
You're right. It was good.
Reddit. It was incredible. It was incredible. Anyways, so yeah, you have all these actors, and I think it's important to give people realistic expectations of what you can do when you're, like to get this level of muscle, right? Being transparent about that you're taking, special sports supplements to do that. But at the same time, you have all these like 8 and 10-year-olds following these athletes. And if they talk about the steroid use, then these kids who don't know better, who maybe haven't had the greatest parenting or the best influence, they just might just go into the gym and start, juicing trend at 12 years
Yeah.
old. It's a tough position, but like Chris Hemsworth, I'll tell you right now, he's not eating 9,000 calories of chicken, rice, and broccoli. If he was doing that, he would be fat. That's it. It's, that's ridiculous. So it's the flat out lie. It's a tough, it's a tough situation because it's like which side do you pick?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, I feel like the number of kids I see in the gym has gone up in recent years. It's definitely
Absolutely.
become, and so I think this is an important thing to talk about. Like, I think it's contributed a lot to the negative connotations that people have with the gym. Like,
Yep.
I think gym culture has become very popular, which, I think in a lot of ways can be really healthy and really good. But it is true that there is a more negative side of that I do think is often grabbed by people. I guess what to you like constitutes a healthy relationship with the gym? Like what do you do to make sure that, you're happy?
Sure. So you want to be going to the gym for yourself. You like that. Say that's one of the main things. You don't want to be going for other people. Like you're never, it sucks, but at the end of the day, a lot of people just they don't really care. Like you need to be going for yourself, otherwise you're not like it's going to be tough to stay consistent. So having that motivation to want to better yourself, to want to be in there to, help develop a better, image of yourself, to become healthier. I think that's the first step to having a healthy relationship with the gym. you also want to, I think it's important, to be really passionate about the gym, have it a big part of your life, but you don't necessarily, I was honestly guilty of this for a while, but you don't want to necessarily make the gym your entire personality. Just from personal experience, I think it's important to, have other hobbies and have other things that you're doing because the gym is a great thing, but at the end of the day, it's supplemental to having a healthy life. But I guess unless you're like a personal trainer or like that's
Yeah,
like what you do as a career, like it's like I can't think of an analogy, but it's like it's important to have other things that you're doing and
of course.
finding that balance between the gym and friends and life. Like say if you're say it's family game night, right? And family game night's only once a month. And
Mm,
your mom's like, hey, like, Julian, like, it's family game night. It's at 5 o'clock. Are you gonna be there? I got legs today, mom. I don't think I'm gonna maybe I'll be there late. Like, come on, you can do legs in another
yeah,
time. One day,
yeah.
so it's about finding a balance.
Exactly. And also like, if you're eating like a yogurt parfait, like with a bunch of fruit, like the gym is a grape. You don't just want grapes in your yogurt parfait. You want some strawberries, you want some maybe put some pineapple in there, some mangoes, blueberries, all that kind of stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, but honestly, like a yogurt parfait with just grapes sounds really good.
Like it's a lot of fun. The
Yeah,
yoga part.
yeah, I could talk to a yogurt parfait with just grapes.
Whatever conversation.
Um, Okay, so you've mentioned this nutrition word multiple times.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start off by saying that um, one summer I lost a lot of weight, and I found that the biggest thing for me was not cardio, but it was in fact what I was eating.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't know the medicine behind that, and I don't know the basis behind that, so I will hand it off to you.
Sure. So fundamentally, eating is like a thermodynamic process. So that means it's the way that your body is consuming and releasing heat. So these things that we eat called calories are pretty much a measure of the amount of energy between the bonds of our food. So there are three different types of macronutrients in food. There are fats, there are carbohydrates, and there are proteins. And each of these macromolecules have energy within the bonds between them. And the amount of energy in those bonds are called calories. So if you're along with that, your body every day naturally just happens to burn a certain amount of calories. So me talking to you right now, moving my mouth, like literally just shifting in my chair, I'm burning calories. And that's called sorry, there's a lot of information. So just, slow me down if like
No,
but
no, keep it
there's
keep it coming. I
so
want the
there's
whole
something.
load.
Sure. Okay. Get that too. So there's something called NEAT, which is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis or something like that. But it's pretty much the measure of how much energy you're burning unintentionally or subconsciously. So you have that, you have the amount of steps you're taking in the day, you have your exercise, and these are all ways that your body is burning off a certain amount of calories every day.
Yeah.
So you then need to eat calories in order to kind of maintain a certain amount of weight. So the amount of calories that you eat in a day that, doesn't cause you to gain weight or lose weight is called, your kind of maintenance level of calories. So when when you're eating less than your maintenance, you're eating less energy, and therefore your body is burning more energy than you're consuming. And that's why we lose weight. That's why we lose fat. If you're eating more calories than your body is able to burn every day, then your body is going to start storing more of those calories in various different ways, be that muscle, be that glycogen stores, be that fat. It really depends. So that summer, when you were, eating substantially less, your body was burning calories at a much faster rate than it was consuming, right? So you were able to drop all this fat. Now, the tough thing about exercise, especially when you want to lose, large amount of weights, the amount of calories that you're gonna burn in like an hour of running, like, dude, you could eat like a donut and a half, and then that's all the way that's back. So it's at the end of the day, it's important to supplement with running. Running's like, or just eh, cardiovascular exercise in general. It's incredible for your heart, incredible for your mind. guilty of not doing that nearly as much as I should be. But at the end of the day, nutrition's going to be what's going to cause you to lose all
Yeah.
that weight.
So I think a lot of people say like it's like what 70, 80%
Yeah,
nutrition and
something
like
like that.
20%
Yeah.
exercise. Because the thing that you said is exactly right. Like running for 30 minutes is like a donut. Like it's crazy. I mean, it's
And
honestly
it's
pretty, yeah.
so fatiguing. I mean, depending on your conditioning level, but
For a
it's
guy like
tough.
me, it's pretty damn fatiguing.
Me too. It's gnarly.
Yeah. Um, And so I do think that like, a lot of people talk about, oh, run every day, all that kind of stuff. But like really like I mean for me, honestly, like it was like 100% nutrition. Like nutrition
Yeah.
is it's really all there is. It's not all there is, but it's a huge chunk of all there is.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, there's so many benefits for running, bicycling, swimming, your heart health, all that kind of stuff. Even me, I mean, I, similar to Julian, I'm pretty guilty of being pretty bad at cardio, other than like playing sports, because that's sort of like there's a ball to chase after or whatever. But I have been running more recently, some 2 mile
Dude.
runs here and there.
Whew.
I know, no big deal.
I'll admit, yeah, I
And
gotta.
I have asthma, and I've noticed that like my lungs have like gotten healthier since I started running.
Wow.
Like even like my breath has gotten better, which is pretty sweet. Um,
Running can
now
absolutely help you lose weight. Like I'm definitely not trying to say that running can help you. It absolutely can. You just got to be supplementing that with a more healthier, balanced diet as well.
Oh, absolutely. So I guess that leads me into my next question. So you were saying, sort of scientifically, calorie, negative calorie or calorie deficit is what it's called, or calorie surplus, right?
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
you're either below or above your resting, not resting, your maintenance, your calorie maintenance
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
Colloquially referred to as cutting or bulking, often in the gym terms, right? So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get toned, all that stuff, you're cutting. If you're trying to put on a lot of muscle, and often what comes with that is putting on a lot of fat as well, you're bulking. How what is your opinion on the different like how to eat for both of those things? I remember that's something that you want to talk about. Like
Sure,
eating
yeah.
for cutting versus eating for bulking. Are they different? Are they the same? Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so if fundamentally it's this idea of calories in, calories out. If you eat less calories than your maintenance, you're going to lose weight. If you eat more calories than your maintenance, you're going to gain weight. Now, the way that we do this is a little bit different. So when you want to So coming back to these three macronutrients, fat, proteins, and carbs, these compose all of the foods that we eat. Everything that we eat has some amount of each of these, products. I guess unless it's like some sort of diet soda or water. Anyways, so starting off with protein. Protein, when you're cutting or bulking, should pretty much stay the same. So the fundamental rule, it's there are different studies and different people have different views on this. In general, the kind of idea is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So say I weigh 180 pounds, that's like 180 grams of protein a day. Now if you're eating 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram. I did the math earlier, and I think that's around zero point 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. That's fine. Like you're gonna be, if I eat 130 grams of protein, probably it'll be all right. But
I
just
was
to
gonna say
make,
that's pretty good.
yeah, just to make like it's to avoid any, sorts of like well, I guess in order to talk about this, I need to talk about protein indexes. So there are different foods that have different levels of protein indexes. So like bread has protein in it. Some vegetables have protein in it, but your body doesn't use that protein at the same level as it uses meats or like whey protein to help synthesize and build muscle. So when you're getting a gram of protein per pound of body weight, that helps to make sure that all the protein that you're getting is going towards muscle synthesis and muscle growth. So you want to have it, especially when you're cutting, like you want to have the same amount of protein as you are when you're bulking. Sometimes you might even do more protein when you're cutting because protein is it it's the most satisfying out of all the macronutrients. And so by satisfying, I mean like it's gonna satiate your hunger the most out of all these nutrients. So when you're cutting and you don't want
Really?
to.
I actually didn't know that. Like literally it satiates your hunger more?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that'll 100% if you're having more protein, you're going to be less hungry. Let me turn off my ringer. If you're
Oh, I
eating less,
honestly I couldn't even hear it.
oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so if you're eating more protein, then you're going to be less hungry. So that might be a reason to increase your protein when you're cutting. But if you're increasing that protein, it's not necessarily going to get you any more muscle than if you were
Yeah.
at 1 gram per pound of body weight. So then we move on to the fats. So fats are a little bit different. Fat is the most lipogenic out of all the different macronutrients, and by that I mean it is able to lead to the most fat growth out of all these. However, it's also, you need to eat fats because these are essential for various different like sex hormones, absorption of, nutrients. A lot of vital life processes need fats. So you got to be eating fats. I mean, some people do keto where they don't eat fat. And oh wait, no, that's my bad. That's when you only eat fat. Never mind. So keto is when not keto. When you're eating fats, it's important to have, based off the studies, it's around zero point 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. So I'm 180 pounds. It's going to be around 74 grams of fat. Now you can try that and then you titrate up and down depending on how you're feeling. But that should stay relatively the same. When you're cutting, you can reduce that a little bit to help with the fat effect. But I'd say the most important thing when you're going from cutting to bulking is probably the carbs. So carbs are going to be much higher when you're bulking. They're going to be much lower when you're cutting. Carbs are also they're also protein sparing. So when you eat a lot of carbs, your body's going to try and burn those carbs off before they start trying to use or they start trying to use the carbs for energy before they start trying to use the protein for energy. So by eating more carbs, you're getting more protein that's more available for your body to, synthesize and make more muscle. So at the end of the day, it's really just about titrating these different macronutrients up and down depending on how you're feeling. Ultimately, protein's usually staying the same. Carbs are changing a lot. Fats are kind of here and there depending on how you're feeling about it. But really, if you're eating less calories, you're going to lose weight. If you're eating more calories, you're going to gain weight
Yeah.
on a fundamental level.
Okay, awesome. So I think it's interesting because I think like people hear like I think this is an important thing to mention, like that like people hear the word fat or they hear the word carb and they're like, no, like
Yeah.
not part of my diet. But based off of what you're saying, like you need carbs, you need fats to like live.
Yeah, I mean, some people will do no carb diets, but that's incredibly difficult. I mean, I commend people who that, and that's called the keto diet. That's when you're only eating fats and proteins, and usually you're eating like healthier fats, like unsaturated, monounsaturated fats. So when your carbs are so important for energy, you take energy out of your carbs. So when
Yeah.
you're not eating carbs, you're sluggish, you're tired. That's why a lot of the times, when you wake up in the morning and you have to take a test, people are like, make sure you get your carbs in, you gotta, it gives you energy. Like one thing we do before the gym is we'll eat Rice Krispie treats because that'll help
Exactly.
give us
Yeah.
energy and it'll help with the pump. And I think
I've
that's
been
also,
doing cereal. I've been doing
hey, me too.
I've
I
been doing
actually just
frosted
started that.
flakes. Yeah, I've been doing
No way.
frosted flakes.
I've been doing cinnamon toast crunch.
Oh my God, I love cinnamon toast crunch.
Because it's like there's like no fat and it's just carbs. It's
It's also
incredible.
just so good. It's
It's
so
so
good.
good, dude. It's so good.
Okay, sorry, tangent. Keep
No, you're
going.
good. You're good. Yeah, so one of the other things that is interesting about the like having carbs before your workout, like these Rice Krispie treats or these cereal, is that when you eat carbs, that increases your blood glucose level. And when your blood glucose level increases, your insulin level increases. And insulin is a hormone that helps store your blood glucose in a molecule called glycogen. And you hold glycogen stores in your muscle, and I believe it's your liver. I think so, but definitely your muscles. So when you're eating all of these carbs before your workout, then your glycogen stores are being filled and being replenished, and you're able to use energy from those glycogen stores, and it also makes your muscles look so much fuller. And it just feels great.
Yeah. That's so interesting. And yeah, so I'm glad we touched on that. Also, sorry, I just have to put in Honey Bunches of Oats. Like,
Oh,
whew,
dude.
Honey
Yeah,
Bunches of Oats, man.
I love cereal, man. I miss cereal. I'm
I
happy I'm eating.
know. And honestly, like, for I'm gonna lose subscribers for this. I'm gluten free. And so there's a lot of cereals I cannot eat anymore, and it's very
It's
upsetting. But this is why Frosted Flakes are
one
pretty
of the
big for
best.
me.
One of
Dude,
the best.
they have like maple coconut Frosted Flakes here or something. It's like unbelievable. It's
Dude, I need
actually
to get a
unbelievable.
Europe, bro. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I actually like annihilated that box. Like it was
Oh,
gone in like one night. Um, okay, so this has been super interesting. And I think, I think we have time for like one more question I want to ask you. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't know about. And this is something that I didn't know about until you told me. Um, but when you're at the gym and you're doing workouts, there's a different way to train for whether you want to grow strength or whether you want to grow in size. And I think that that's like super important to mention right now because there's all these like images or TikToks or whatever where it's like huge massive bodybuilder versus like scrawny guy and it's like who do you think will win in the arm wrestle? And it turns out sometimes a scrawny guy wins.
yeah, it's pretty
Can
amazing.
you explain why?
Yeah, so when you're building muscle, you're inducing something called muscular hypertrophy. So you're breaking down the muscle tissue, and then as a result, that muscle tissue rebuilds bigger and stronger. Now, when you're doing this, a lot of the times, to gain this muscle, you train till failure, train to break down as much of that muscle fiber as possible. You're going as hard as you can, and then you take a couple of days to recover, and then maybe you're hitting that muscle group twice a week. Now, it's a little bit different with strength. One of the things about strength is that you got to train your body to be used to these weights and to be able to adjust to lifting such heavy weight. So sometimes you'll be benching 3, 4 times a week. And what this means is that you're slowly working up to very high loads, but the volume that you're doing, you're usually not doing more than 5 reps for a set. And sometimes you'll be working up to doubles or singles, which means you're doing 1 rep or 2 reps with a very heavy weight and you're hardly ever training till failure. I mean, sometimes you'll do that for like your biceps or like muscles that aren't necessarily important for these super strong lifts, but you do this so that you can recover in maybe even like a day, and then the next day you're benching heavy again. So it's a little bit counterintuitive because there are these, you're going to the gym, you're lifting weights, you're, supposed to get bigger muscles, supposed to get stronger. And when you first start lifting, absolutely. Like you're going to be gaining muscle, you're going to be gaining strength. Honestly, for years, right? I'm still like just training, to get bigger and I'm, getting stronger as well. But it's like really once you start to hit that like advanced stage, or if you really from the beginning want to be training for something that's super specialized towards strength or muscle gain, it's a different style of training. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's like something that's so counterintuitive
I
that like
know it's
that
really
like you want to work less hard if you want to get stronger, which is so interesting. Because I think like most like people will say like failure, train till failure, like till the last rep you have. So just to confirm, even for myself, the correct thing here is higher weight, lower reps is for strength.
yes.
Lower weight, higher reps is for size.
Yes, within reason. Like, listen, you can do, in general, if you're doing between 5 and 30 reps, like, yeah, that's conducive to muscle growth and muscle hypertrophy.
I
So
have
there's
not
a
done
really
30 reps for shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, not like it's yeah, maybe on like lateral raises, but other than like no one's really doing 30. But listen, you can totally do 30 reps and you're going to be gaining muscle. Any
Yeah.
more than that, it's usually going to be junk volume. I mean, because it's just too light. You should just go heavier. And as low as 5 reps, like say I'm doing squats pretty heavy, want to do 5 reps, absolutely that'll grow muscle. Even if you're doing it lower than that, you'll still be growing muscle. It just might not be the most optimal way. And for strength, the way you want to be doing, you usually want to be lower than 5 reps. Again, you can do more and it, will help your strength a little bit, but the most optimal range is going to be in that lower level.
Yeah.
Higher one.
Something I'm never gonna get over is that little tidbit
Yeah,
information.
it's pretty great. It took me a long
It's
time to
yeah.
get
Well,
that.
I didn't know that until you told me. All right, to end things off here, I think I have the most important question I've asked so far. What's your favorite gym day?
It changes a lot. It's been push, it's been pull. I would say
It's never been legs.
it's never been letting. Well, I mean, I get when I was squatting really heavy, I was enjoying leg day for the
Yeah.
ego. But right now, dude, I gotta say I'm back to push. I'm a classic man. I
Yeah.
was push at the beginning, fluctuated. I think I'm back to push again.
There's a reason yeah, there's a reason.
That's fun.
Um yeah, this might surprise you. My favorite day is pull right now. I
Wow.
It's always been push, but I have been loving pull recently. I think
Ooh,
because this Wolverine split's got some crazy arms day,
yeah,
and it's just awesome.
makes them just
Um
blow up. Yeah.
yeah, it makes them blow, and it's just a fun day. I don't know. It's like I think it's the day where it's easiest to see the progress quickly. Like I guess just to say my own story on this one, like there's your lat muscle, which is like right here, your wings, some people call it, and like that's a muscle that will grow like so fast once you start working on it. It'll and or at least for me, because it's a muscle group I really ignored. And I guess just to
Big.
what's up?
So that's what makes you look wide and big, and like you're doing like the
Yeah,
fucking.
exactly. People don't know this, but like you want your shoulders to look wider, you got to work on your lats. Like
Not, it's not just the delts, and absolutely.
exactly, yeah. Well, Julian, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on for
Thank you so
episode
much
nine
for having me.
here.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this was an episode I've been wanting to do for a long time. And so thank you for everyone for listening. Never forget, we got an Instagram at Yeah For Real Pod. We got a TikTok at Yeah For Real Pod. I post clips to there. We got a YouTube channel and a Spotify with full length videos. Thank you so much for listening.